Welcome to the Artist Bridge to Abundance podcast. I'm your host, Michele Renee Stone. Thank you for being here. I started this podcast because I have well over 20 years worth of curating experience, working with artists, running gallery space, and helping artists up-level their careers. I've watched artists time and time again go from emerging to mid-level to now they're thriving. And I know a ton of them who are just living their best lives, doing exactly what they wanted to do.
Every fruit on the tree started out with a seed. So dare to believe the impossible is possible. And so your deepest dream, grow your truest dream, bloom your freest dream with me.
Watching the art move people. I think when people come to me and tell me, wow, this really moved me, or this is beautiful, please keep going, or they want to give me blessings, or they're like, can I give you a hug? That to me is probably the most rewarding thing ever, because I literally am taking nothing, as all artists know, we take nothing and we create something.
Right.
And to create something and put it on a wall and have someone come back and really feel it and communicate with you,
Right.
I'm just blown away by that magic.
I always wanted to be an artist, but I never dared to really think about it as a possibility.
Yeah.
So I chose architecture because it was the closest kind of normal career to follow that was artistic. I loved it. And in architecture, I learned a lot to see.
I got really sick. I had developed ulcerative colitis and became bedridden and housebound for about 7 years.
Right.
And there's only so much TV you can watch in 7 years. It's horrible. So I got really bored and decided to pick up a sketchbook and just started off with spheres.
When I photograph somebody, I always tell them, hey, you have the easy job. You just sit there and I'm going to tell you everything to do. And I've always had a really good eye. I think that's why I was so many different types of photographer and able to do that, is I always just had a good eye for what looked right.
Right.
And when people are in front of my camera, I'll go, drop that left shoulder and lean forward and smile, but not that much, no, 10% more. And I work them through the whole thing so that they're not just standing behind the camera and they're having to move all around. I'm telling them what to do. So I try to make their job easy and make them feel comfortable. And then there's always little tricks to getting the right angle on different people, or the way that if your camera's high or your camera's low, or the lighting's from the side or the lighting's straight on, or there's just all different kinds of tricks to make people look better.
It can go either way. Like, I use Grammarly, it's an AI tool, but I use it more to track all my books.
Okay.
So I have about 10 books that I'm working on myself. And sometimes the images will come first.
Okay.
Sometimes you do a couple illustrations and then all of a sudden the words flow around the images. But a lot of times, for some reason, 3 a.m. is a time where my brain likes to write books. And I wake up with an idea like, oh, that'd be a great book.
I go, nobody knows me, they don't know my work, they don't know a thing about me, I'm anonymous, and I go there and I do something I'm not doing at home. I explore something I've been thinking about in my mind, or I've been inspired by, or as I travel through. 2 years ago I went to France, the south of France. As I travel through, you go to museums, you go to art shows, you go to galleries, and then it's, oh, this is what I want to do. And so that's been really exciting for this next phase for me.
I'm becoming so rich by connecting with these people and strangers. It's not just friends and family, it's complete strangers that have never met before will see a piece of work and say, dude, I feel this, or explain this to me, or if I explain it and they can tear up and say, wow, this is beautiful. So for me, that human connection, that human, because when I'm creating it, I know it's going to be to communicate with somebody.
Right.
I don't know who or where or when. I believe that it's for somebody.
It's actually one of the reasons why I started this podcast, is when you have these new artists and they're stepping into their career, or mid-level artists, and they're still trying to figure things out.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
moments like this that I want them to be able to listen to.
And so what I do is, after I have that conversation, then I create a little melody. I'll say, can I create our melodic story today? And I'll sing kind of and celebrate them and who they are and what they love to do. And what happens is that you shift from a feeling of I'm diminished and I'm trying to heal to a proactive, creative space. This is what I love to do. This is now, energetically, this is defining who I am, not the chemo. If anything, it helps to embellish, or the natural medicines of the body awaken.
Right.
And work with whatever the medicine that's going into the body. And it gives you a sense of calm, it gives you more breath. It's a really, really powerful thing. Reshaping. Imagery is a really important thing. So if I'm in a space of feeling diminished, or if I'm in a space of what I love to do, then the natural pain inhibitors in my body are working, and my imagination is working, and my blood is pumping, and more breath is moving in.
If you spent the 6 hours you're at the market plus the 2 hours you're setting up and breaking down on your marketing at home on your computer, you would make more money. So why don't you do that?
I'll tell you one funny story. I got this call one day, and this guy goes, "Hey, I got your name from somebody, and I'm a musician, and I want to get some pictures taken." I was living in Seattle at the time, and I said, "Okay, great." I go, "What's your name?" He goes, "Steve," and I go, "Okay, Steve what?" And he goes, "Steve Miller." I said, "Really?" I go, "Are you the Steve Miller?" He goes, "What do you mean by the?" And I said, "Well, there's probably a bunch of musicians named Steve Miller. It's a common name, but then there's the Steve Miller that we all know." And he goes, "Well, I'm the." And so it was pretty funny. So I ended up taking some pictures for him, and he used them on an album cover, and it was kind of cool. He was a cool guy.
Oh, possibly, yes, the inverted pyramid, which was homage to the, that piece is, it's right over here at the DRV gallery right now, just across the street. It had the inverted pyramid, which represented the inverted pyramid that used to be the pier. And from that inverted pyramid that was built on my birthday, opened on my birthday in 1973, there was a DC artist named Rockney Krebs. He was an early laser guy, and the technology couldn't keep up with his ideas. He was ridiculed quite a bit because his laser kept breaking down, but there was a beam of green light that just boom, shoot out from that thing. And occasionally they put a mirror on the skyway or something, and it hit the mirror and bounce. It really impressed me because it was like a 4-inch cable just shot off into infinity. You know, I really like that. So that is in there. The whole piece is mounted on a sun that represents the sun that's been shining on this area for millions of years. It's an homage to Tampa Bay, and through it all, it's called the persistence of pelicans. There's 3 pelicans that are flying through it. So yeah, it is kind of Pink Floyd-y.
Art is crazy subjective, and it's just really expressing yourself and telling a story that words can't, or that words just maybe don't do as well of a job. And it's a journey. We're all like developing our skills, and like,
what is that about? What am I afraid of? What brings me anxiety? And so I did this deep work, and I found out something remarkable that transformed my selling life, which is, in selling, I thought I was taking money from people. I don't like taking money from people. I don't like, doing that. It feels weird.
Right.
So I reframed it, and I was talking to a friend who said, as an artist, you're presenting and you're offering a service, and you're developing a relationship with someone who has clearly, they've come into your space and they want art. You're just trying to help them find what they want. So you're a relationship builder and providing a service, and that exchange is money. And money, in my mind, is an exchange of love.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and it was one of the greatest days of our band when we were performing at that time. It really did. It really shifted a whole thing inside of me.
Do you feel like you were more congruent after that?
I feel like I was more humble.
More humble.
Because I stormed on the stage. It's like, I got this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, y'all, here we go. And I still have that energy in that, but it really was humbling. It just opened up a whole nother thing that I was like, look, man, this is not about you. Right. This is through you.
Yeah.
And that's a different frame, right?
Yeah.
It's like, be grateful that you can do what you love and understand that there's a whole nother thing
I found it magical that we can change the way we feel because of the way, or if that wall is 20 inches more there or here, or how that window is letting the sun come in, it's gonna change how I perceive the space. How I walk through a space is gonna change my feelings, and that got me super excited, and that is something that I missed, that I did not want to lose. And then when I had the opportunity to come here to the US, I took it as, okay, that's my door. I have this chance to try to do what I always wanted. And I think when I started painting, all of that translated in my painting naturally, because I wanted that creativity, I wanted that feeling. I wanted to translate what I was feeling when I was in a place.
He employed me to work with him and help him get going. And he taught me not only how to weld, but this is how you apply for a craft show. You know, you've got to take good slides. You got to mail your slides off. You got to have inventory. You got to. He taught me how to make a living doing this, and so I started scrapping it together.
But it's the first time because you get to have an experience. It's like a pass-through. Mm-hmm. Because in the world of artistic make it, whether you're a painter, whether you're a singer, whatever, is this the one? Is this the piece? Is this the song? Is this the whatever? Right. You know, you got to go all in to meet what goal. And my thing was that every single experience, every time that I'm given the gift of sharing time with people, right, I get to do what I love, and it's a pass-through. Yeah. I get the benefit of being able to be of service and know that that's an important thing.
My friends would play and ask me like, oh, I want one of your people when playing with that. So the people began from architecture because it was magical for me. I was always trying to get it more and more simple. And I just need a little dot and a little wiggle, and that magically transformed into a person. And that little square became a building. And I was like, whoa, I love it. So that's my thing.
It's just answering the call to something deeper, like you just know as a young person that you are meant for something bigger. Or maybe for me, I just had this internal goal. I can't put my finger on it, but I am meant for something bigger. I am meant to touch people. I am meant to communicate. I am meant to create beautiful things. And not quite putting my finger on it, but just knowing what I liked as a kid. Right? Mm-hmm. I liked art, I liked the dance, I liked the music. Mm-hmm. And not understanding as a kid where that would go, what that would lead to, or how you can make that work.
So I get this book, I have 12 designs, perfect, that's so many designs. I'm ready to go. And I was very naive and didn't realize that I needed 50 designs. Right. So I went around with my cards to different shops, and I was like, would you like to sell my cards? Some of them were really nice, and I said, okay. Then I just started amassing more designs, and now I have many designs and more products than just greeting cards.
And in the meantime, a high school friend of mine, his sister had moved to this, it was called a commune. It was just a bunch of long hair, just a bunch of hippie kids that were artists that were living in the mountains on 150 acres. And I'd go out and visit them. And they were craftspeople. There was people into textile, leather. 3 of the guys were doing bronze and copper work. And one of them, George Anderson, took me under his wing, and he had a point he needed to prove to somebody. And he said, I'm going to make $100,000 and you're going to help me. Oh, okay.
To draw, and I wanted to draw, but I wanted to draw bigger, so I started experimenting with different kinds of markers and paint and ink and all kinds of things.
I think is really a byproduct of the fact that in the first 5.5 years of my life, I was awarded the state, and so in those developmental years where you really develop your communication and coping skills, my way of coping, because I didn't have like regular hugging and holding, I didn't have that family environment, was to make sound. And sound became my way of finding a sense of calm. And I rocked, because the science will tell us that the body has a need for sound and motion. So I did those two things, and so it became a part of my internal being. And then when I began to learn to speak, it was really more comfortable for me to sing.
I literally forgot how to make a collage the way I usually make a collage. And I was not feeling good. I was not making a lot of work. And then I got a call to artists from Chad Mize for, I think it was Hotbox. And yeah, I want to be in the show. And then I have this idea. It's going to be an ibis by a pool. And I get this huge canvas and I stand it up vertically and I start painting a pool on it. And it's terrible. And I have to start the piece over 3-4 times. And then I remember, oh, I put a pattern down first. And then I came back.
When you're creating work for children or these books, how do you think that your work has an impact on them?
It's interesting. I love when I see a kid read a book. In fact, I went to see a friend who used to be an employee of mine, my husband's, years ago, and she has a little boy, it's 2.5. And when I came in, she said, you know how I tell you about Cindy? Cindy's the one that wrote the books. And he brought me a book and he sat in my lap and I read it to him, and it's really nice to see a kid have joy in it and just be like excited about reading a book.
So even though you put it to the side, he was ignored.
Yeah.
The little kid was ignored.
Mm-hmm.
Once I finally answered the call and you do that for that person and you say, hey man, you were right all along. And I'm sorry we didn't start sooner, but let's go we're working towards it.
One of the things I learned from going to my critique group, I have a great critique group in Dallas that I still participate in, but one of the things they teach you with children's books in general is that you don't try to teach a lesson, because kids will see that. They'll see right through it.
Job as a broadcast journalist, I got paid well. It was like a she job. It was hard. So I already did that. And here I am, like, living on a farm, making pots, returning my 5-cent beer can so I could get some groceries.
New York,
I was so poor. And my mother was like, and you left journalism for this? And I go, I know I'm poor, but I'm happy.
Yeah.
And I was happy. So there you go. Anything's possible.
Anything is possible, especially when you put it out on paper.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
a big believer of that.
Yeah.
Throughout my life, write it down. And also tell people, if you tell your dream to someone, they hold you accountable in a beautiful way, because they'll be like, how's that going? You said you wanted to teach international workshops. Have you applied to any? And then you're like, actually, I think I'll go home.
I'm in a big pivot right now with, Janet dying. It's like, I'm just now kind of really, the shock of it's all over.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, she's not coming back.
Yeah.
And so right now, my main focus, I'm still doing my artwork, but my main thing is I'm cleaning the house out. 30 years of Janet and me and our 2 boys and our dogs and our cats. And it's just, so I've had to make that pivot.
Yeah.
I've got 300, over probably 500 paintings of Janet's that I've got to go through. I've sort of getting them, organized. So I'm involved in that part of the art, and I'm thinking what I'm going to do with the paintings. I'm going to probably pick out the 100 best that I consider that can kind of show her life process.
Yeah.
Because she did it her whole life up until 2 weeks before she died. She couldn't hold a paintbrush anymore. But she, so I'm working on her art as well as my own. I want to get a catalog together.
Yeah.
And
Like,
let the rest of it go.
Everybody is worthy to be entered into that show and juried in, but a lot of times that there's only maybe space for 35 pieces and you've got 150 people apply. And it's very difficult to narrow that down. And so often, which is heartbreaking, we have to be pretty sticklerish about how you pare through those applications. And so many times we've had people who didn't quite follow the instructions in how they took their picture. Maybe they didn't crop it correctly. There's a sliver of light on the outside. It makes a difference. Mm-hmm. Just really make sure you're completely buttoned up, right, because that can make or break your application.
Yeah, totally agree. Because someone else juried the show and I helped them curate. And when I put it up, there were paint marks on the frames. Mm-hmm. Some of the edges were painted white, but that particular person draws out their images with charcoal. And so now there's charcoal on the sides, sawtooth hangers, all the things.
They're simple little things, and it seems like it's being anal retentive, but there's a reason why.
And you never know who's going to say yes,
Exactly.
right?
And that's something that I love about the way the art works here, is that you can always apply. You don't have to know someone to apply to something. You start small and you grow slowly, but you don't have to, I have to show my face, sure shine.
Internationally, and I wanted to teach at La Meridiana International School of Ceramics, so I introduced myself to them. I don't know where I had the brazenness to do that, but I teach these workshops. I had been teaching workshops nationally, and lo and behold, I sent them a proposal. They sent me a contract. I started teaching in Italy, so I taught in Italy every other year for 9 years.
Wow.
So this was after I was teaching in Italy, and I sat down and I go, oh my God, it came true. What I learned about a business plan is our mental mind is going to stop us because we don't think we're good enough. We don't think this. Turn the mental mind off, right from the place of dream and belief and hope and joy, and then close it, put it away. And then when I found it, I was amazed. I did every single thing because I think I set the intention, and the universe was my co-conspirator.
And to continue to learn, it's part of who we are, like what feeds our soul.
And it's not a 9-to-5 job because it's with creativity, or it's not a kind of job people say, oh, when are you going to retire? You don't retire from art.
Mm-mm.
You do that till you don't exist anymore.
That's so true.
You ride that ride all the way to the end. That's what my plan is.
I think about the word retire and I find it offensive.
Yeah.
Because
artists don't retire.
Yeah.
You can't stop creating. You can't turn off that flow.
I can only feel them, right? I'm like, what is going on with them?
Yeah.
So finally, I do the one thing that they say you shouldn't do outside as a performer. I cut the band off, right? 100,000 people who are outside in the middle of the day, 4th of July.
Right.
And I start singing a cappella.
Oh, okay.
Right? And I sing, turn down the lights, turn down the bed, turn down these voices inside my head. And every once in a while I'm looking out my one eye, lay back with me and tell me no lie. And anyway, I get to the part where, but I can't make you love me if you don't. And I open my eyes and they're looking into each other's eyes.
Oh.
Right? And as I'm singing one more, and then they hold each other and they hug each other, and they're both, they got like a little tear in their eye. So it was at that moment, Michelle, that I realized that what I do is not about bringing attention to me. It's about helping others to move into a place of peace.
Seed to flower, magic's in your hands. You got the power, so go forth and expand.
If you like the podcast that you just saw, go ahead and click that subscribe button and click the little bell next to it, so then that way you're notified every time we load up another episode. Look forward to seeing you soon.